Notice whenever you see black people start talking about, well, black people were Jews too, and some of the original Jews were black people, when people start saying that, all of a sudden they start throwing the anti-Semitic trope at them. They start throwing the anti-Semitic trope. Now, why do they do that? I talked about this the other day. Yeah, Bill O'Reilly comes from one of those Levitt towns. Bill O'Reilly, yes. So why do they do that? Whenever black people say, yeah, you know what? I dug into my lineage and I see that down the line, I can prove that there's a Hebrew lineage in my family, and I'm a black person. The minute you say that, all of a sudden, you're labeled as anti-Semitic, a black person. Now, I tweeted something the other day. I said the root of anti-Semitism is anti-black racism. You understand? Let me break it down. I broke it down the other day. I'm going to break it down again tonight. We got 7,000 people in here. Let's get 10,000 people in here. Retweet this. Retweet this, ladies and gentlemen, so that more people can see this. We need to get up to 10,000 people. Now, why, ladies and gentlemen, do we hear that anti-Semitic trope towards black people? Anytime black people start talking about they have Jewish ancestry. When black people start talking about their Jews, all of a sudden, anti-Semitism, to shut them up real quick, so they won't say nothing else. The name of the game is to shut them up real quickly. And I talked about this before. The reason why is because why are people anti-Semitic? Why were they anti-Semitic in Europe? Nobody ever gets into that. Why were people anti-Semitic in Europe? All right? Going back centuries, there's been a lot of anti-Semitism in Europe going back centuries, really in medieval times. When you start reading documents, and I'm looking at this from a historical perspective, I'm talking history. This is all history I'm talking. None of this is my opinion. When you look at anti-Semitism, the root of anti-Semitism is anti-black racism. Why? Because Jewish people by other Europeans have always been looked at as an extension of Negroes. These are their words. I've said this before. When you look at some of the German documents, look, even Mein Kampf by Hitler, Hitler kept referring to Jewish people as Negroid. The Europeans, other Europeans, they kept saying these folks are Negroes. These people have black blood. So they're different from us. That's why the root of anti-Semitism is anti-blackness. When you look at medieval documents, they used to portray Jewish people as always like a mulatto or even black. They would always portray them as black in many medieval documents. You look at old Bibles and just old books, they would have Jewish people with dark skin and afroid hair. You dig? I'm just telling you history. That was the problem. And certain people, you look at certain people, Frederick Ratzel, that was a writer back late 1800s. He was a writer back in the late 1800s. He said the Semites belonged to a mulatto class, a transition stage between black and white. This is what the other Europeans were saying.
Now, there are a lot of people who have gone around and talked about the Holocaust. 6 million Semites of the Jewish religion were killed in Germany and other parts of Europe between 1933 and 1945. People talk about the Holocaust this and the Holocaust that. And every time you turn on the television, it's something about the Holocaust. But they lie about it. What is the lie? That Hitler said, I'm doing it because you are not white. Now, nobody talks about that. Hitler said, I'm killing you because you are not white. I don't care that you've gotten light. Your ancestry was on the continent of Africa. You may have miscegenated for 2,000 years and gotten lighter.
I am half black. My biological father is African American. I'm gonna break it down for you because I know what you're thinking. This girl is insane. There's no way. She has green eyes, very light skin, and blonde hair. Like, there's no way. Growing up as a kid, I always got, that's your stepdad, you must be adopted. This video is honestly for educational purposes to just let you know, like, people can look like me and be mixed. So let me break it down and show you my parents. Alrighty, here is me and my dad. This is my dad, his name is Lance. Here's another photo, it's kind of blurry, but yes, he raised me my entire life from when I came out the womb. Here is another photo of us when I was younger. And this is my mom, so I definitely took after like her skin tone, her hair. I'm looking like a weird ass little baby in this pic, but this is my mom, again. Here is her when she was in her teenage years. So yeah, those are my parents. My dad actually had a paternity test after I was born. Not because he thought my mom was cheating, but just to make sure, because I did come out looking super fair, which is absolutely hilarious, honestly. One day somebody asked him, they were like, how does your baby have blonde hair? That is not your kid. And my dad just made a joke. He was like, oh yeah, I used to have blonde hair when I was a kid too. Like, serves you right for asking a dumb question. I will say that when people see my dad and me next to each other, we do have a lot of similarities in our face. We have the same eyes, not eye color, but there's a photo of us, I can't find it, but there's a photo of us where our eyes are literally the exact same when we smile. Like, the shape of them, one of our eyes gets smaller and one's bigger. And then I'm also very lean and tall and thin, and that is his exact body type and build as well. I did not get like my body type from my mom at all. So yeah, I just wanted to share this because it's just been something growing up that people just always thought I was lying, and I'm like, why would I lie about that? Like, that's just weird, you know?
I don't care that you've gotten light. Your ancestry was on the continent of Africa. You may have miscegenated for 2,000 years and gotten lighter, but I want to know who your great-grandmother was. And if you were tied to people from Africa, that's why you're going to be killed.
Are Jews white? This is the hot topic on TikTok right now because of Whoopi Goldberg and her ridiculous conversation on The View about the Holocaust. And as a Jewish woman on this app, as a Jewish creator, let's talk about it. Some Jews are white, like me, but our whiteness is conditional, and that's why it's different. We are not always white. We are white when it is convenient. We are white when our whiteness boosts the numbers of white people in order to oppress people of color. We are white until we're fucking not. And when we're not, we are almost hated in a different way because we can fool you with our whiteness. We can assimilate, which is why the man with the name that starts with H puts stars on our jackets so we wouldn't trick anybody. Judaism is both a religion that you can practice and an ethnicity. You can be Jewish and not practice Judaism. And although there are Jews of every color and across every country, if you are a white Jew, you are Jewish first before you're white, if that makes sense. Which is why white supremacy is just as frightening for us as it is for people of color. Because those same people, there's like a Venn diagram of ignorant hate and Jew hating and LGBTQ plus hating and people of color hating. There is a center there where we're all lumped in as others. Now, I'm not trying to say my experience as a Jew is in any way the same kind of experience as somebody who walks around this earth with their otherness on their skin. I have benefited from white privilege my whole life, but I am always aware that my whiteness is conditional. It can be rescinded at any time. And that's a scary place to be. It's almost like the Jewish community is being told, listen, you can be white right now, but if you fuck up, if you make too much noise, if you cause too much trouble, you're out.